guys, and welcome to episode 5 of Bears Brunch. It's 11 a.m. on the dot on Sportscaster, Facebook Live, and YouTube, and on Spotify. So I'm with my favorite co-host of the day, Cristina Gonzalez. Unfortunately, Shanda is not here today. She's got a sick child.
Makes me happy I'm just an aunt, not a mom.
Yeah. I have a daughter with really long hair, and she doesn't know how to pull it back when she throws up. And
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something you picked up quickly on as a dad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in my college days having to hold someone's hair back.
If you had a college experience, like you should be skilled in that.
Yes. Well, I don't do throw up though. I can't.
Oh, okay. That's a no for you.
Yeah, we're all in the bathroom at that point. So.
Oh, are you one of those people that throws up when you see someone else throwing up or starts to?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I pass out if I see blood.
Ooh. Yeah, definitely not cut out for healthcare, man.
No.
Good thing you did not go down that route.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to be like I thought I wanted to be an athletic trainer, and everybody's like, "Oh man, there's a lot of work." And I was like, "Really? I just want to wear the fanny packs and go out with the water bottles and just like
get the gear and stuff." Like,
yeah, like my dream job is to be on an NFL sideline in the sweatpants.
Oh,
like in the sweatsuit.
Oh,
and just have a towel around my neck, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like like the Northwestern guy, like their strength and condition, like obviously he does the strength and conditioning stuff, but seeing him on the sideline, like short sleeve shirt, shorts, and like 20-degree Chicago weather, and just like pumping everyone up, like jumping around, like getting he's headbutted players without a helmet who had a helmet on, just trying to get them riled up, like doing crazy push-ups on the sidelines and stuff. And man,
hopefully he'll be in Chicago next year too, just with the Bears.
I mean, to me, I would want an athletic trainer who looks like they know what they're doing. And that guy looks like he knows what he's doing.
So, we had an athletic trainer in high school that was all big up here, but his arm, like his legs were like the size of my wrist.
Yep. Never skip leg day.
Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I hurt my back. I didn't know how to squat." And I'm like, "But you're teaching us how to squat. I don't know if I like that."
Yeah. Squats are dangerous as is if you do them incorrectly, but yeah, I would not be trusting a strength and conditioning coach who skips leg day.
No, not at all. So the Bears lost to the Detroit Lions 34-30. Let's get some reaction. What were you thinking there, Cristina?
I mean, watching it, I was like, okay, they got this, Was it like 5:30 left? They were up 10. They had pinned the Lions back to their own 4-yard line. And they had 96 yards to go to get a touchdown and get themselves back in, or close to that, to even get a field goal and have a shot and be within a touchdown. So I was like, okay, they've got this. But Stafford marches them down 96 yards for a touchdown and only takes 2 minutes off the clock. Okay, no big deal. They're still field goal up, but the Bears have the ball back. All you have to do is eat the clock, keep it moving, get some first downs, and you've got the game.
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, Trubisky, they go 3 and out, punt. They end up fumbling, which then gives, I think on their next drive, fumbling, and then gives the Lions the perfect opportunity to score and win. So
yes,
there was 99% chance at that point that they were going to win the game.
99.1% chance of winning with 2 minutes and 37 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Not only did the Lions beat you, but the clock beat you. Everyone beats you, Chicago. It's ridiculous.
And they're just bad at time management too. We were talking about this earlier. Nagy does not know when to call a timeout correctly.
Yeah. Nagy is that dude that gets drunk and cracks the really inappropriate joke on the first date with timeouts. That's Nagy. Nagy will be like, everything is going really good. Let me insult your best friend. Like, when you go out on a date, and that's Nagy. He's like, everything's going great. What can I do? Let's throw a timeout out. 12 offensive timeouts, 2 of them gone right.
It went well. And again, we were talking about it's not like he's calling these offensive timeouts, because they're in fear of they've lined up incorrectly. They don't have enough men on the field, too many men on the field, in fear of getting a penalty and getting set back. It's historically been when they've kind of been rolling down the field, getting some positive plays, picking up first downs, and then all of a sudden he calls a timeout out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's regroup. Regroup from what? Like, whenever you're getting in a groove, let them play. Like, let them keep doing what they're doing. Giving that timeout, that gives the defense a rest, gives them time to regroup against you.
Yep.
And it's historically not worked out for them. So.
No, it was one time out of every 6 you will give it a positive play out of a timeout. Timeouts should be used for like the last 2 minutes of the game or of the half when you're trying to make a drive down the field and you just can't get out of bounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you really don't need an offensive timeout.
No.
Again, unless you're in fear of a negative play and you call it last minute because you see it right before or clock's about to run out, something like that. That's really the only time.
Right. And it's not like our O-line's doing anything. I mean, they lay down halfway through the play anyway, so they should be well rested for the next play once it comes time. I don't know what we're worried about, but this just goes to show us that Nagy 2018 was a fluke, and we should just move on with it. It's stupid. How do you do that? How do you lose? How do you look at things and say, we're going to call a timeout in the middle of this drive, and there goes the drive?
Mm-hmm.
What was and then when they asked Mitch about the strip sack, he's like, well, I didn't know if I was going to throw it, if I was going to pump fake, hold it. What are you doing? Like, you don't even know what you're doing out there, dude. It's ridiculous.
I mean, as a quarterback, you need to know at all times where people are on the field. Yes, there's a blind spot, and you're going to get hit, but you need to be able to feel that pressure and tuck it. If you need to take the sack, take the fucking sack. Like, don't lose the ball, though.
Right. Your offensive line is ranked 35th in the league, and there's only 32 teams. You should know you were always going to have pressure. Hold on to the ball.
Yeah, like his head needs to be on a swivel at all times.
Yes.
And whoever the Bears quarterback is for the remainder of the season, I really don't know. But like, they need to be head on a swivel, like feeling that pressure, because you're going to get hit, you're going to get pressured, you're going to get sacked.
Especially today.
Oh, yeah.
Today's not going to look good.
No, you've got to go up against J.J. Watt.
Right. I mean, this score right here, I was really impressed with how high the score. It was a high-scoring game.
I was surprised it got up that high.
Because I believe we were both at, what, like 27, 20 or something like that was right around.
24-17, I think.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, I guess you can find some positives. This was the highest scoring game I think they've had all year.
Right.
So the offense is looking better.
The
offense is looking better.
A little too late, unfortunately.
Right. I just don't think Matt Nagy should be allowed in any state that the Bears are playing in.
No.
During the game. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think this also, though, I think it brings up now where we're really going to have to start looking at what the next steps are in 2021. They're not gonna get rid of him at this point. 6 straight losses. Might as well take them all. Mock Draft has them, tankathon.com or whatever has them at 13 in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They could move up. Ian Book is not popping up on any of the mock drafts right now.
No, which I'm shocked.
Yeah. So there's a good chance.
Top 5, top 10 QBs entering the draft in 2021.
Right now. Yeah. And right now at 13, they've got them taking either QB from BYU or from Florida.
I would take Zach Wilson, the BYU guy, over Trask any day.
Yeah. And
I just don't see Trask being successful in the NFL. I don't.
Right. He's that's that typical, who else wasn't successful in NFL that came from Florida? Tim Tebow.
Yeah, he's not they definitely have very different styles, and I knew Tebow was not going to be successful in the NFL. He probably could have succeeded maybe as a tight end type or
Right.
something like that, but he was not willing to make that transition. I'm like,
No.
man, I mean, you're not a QB in the NFL. You were a QB at Florida and you did well there, but that style of play does not hold up versus an NFL defense.
No. I mean, you are seeing a lot more mobile quarterbacks now, but you don't see them that are that style that Tebow was. But luckily,
stocky, like I'm going to try to run you over type
right?
Quarterback, and that's not what the NFL has right now. That's successful. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Mahomes can take off. Like these are just quick guys who are going to be able to beat you in the open field one-on-one, be able to juke you and get out of bounds or get the slide and pick up 8 to 10 yards.
And we'll talk a lot about that here in the second half of the show because Deshaun Watson is one of those guys.
Oh yeah.
The guy, what was his last name? Was Bell. I can't think of his first name. He played for OU. He was
Bell. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the same way. Yeah, the Belldozer. He was the same type of kind of going to plow you and beat you as a QB, and then he moved.
Yeah, and because he knew he was not a quarterback. He was not a good quarterback at OU.
Right.
He had a few good games, but he was not a pocket passer. The best thing OU did with Blake Bell was the Belldozer package. They need a 2-3 yard pickup. They're on the goal line. Everyone knew who the ball was going to, but they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
I mean, he would just run people over. He was a big boy. He is a big boy.
Right.
But he recognized that if he wanted to play NFL, he was going to have to make a position change. And I think he's with Kansas City now, or last time I saw was with Kansas City playing tight end.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
built for.
Right. And he recognized that, and he didn't try to, I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But luckily, the Mets really liked Tebow, and they've got him playing some baseball now. So.
Yeah.
All the NFL teams are like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll send you a Christmas card. We were tired of denying him to come to practice and come to, tryouts and everything like that. Focus on the SEC and focus on baseball. Right. We should focus on the Bears. Yeah, I know. I don't want to do it either. So here we are, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, looking at each other. Two people that know they're about to be divorced.
Yeah, that look on Pace's face is just like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Like, shut up.
Yeah. I didn't know. I never said that ever. But this is the face of two dudes that are no longer going to be in Chicago. And if they are, we've got huge problems.
Right. I mean, honestly, what do the Bears have to gain by keeping them?
Less fans in the stands when we're allowed to come back.
Right.
And that's what people throwing things at you when you see them in public. It's
not
good.
Season, like unless their goal each season is to try to, get the number 1 draft pick for the next season. I don't, and that's not, obviously you have to waste a whole season being very poor to get that, unless you just make some crazy amazing trades. But there's no benefit. That the team doesn't believe in them. You can tell that in their play. They're not motivated by them. They don't believe in the system. It's not working.
Right. Well, and the thing too is there's the whole system has to change. Chicago has to change the way of this mom and pop business that's been ran. And they've really got to focus on what do they want to do. And they're not even good at tanking. Like the Jets, that's pro style tanking right there. Mm-hmm. But we're not even good enough to tank. We'll win 5 games and be like, well, all right, we got us at the 13th spot. Yeah. Like if you're not going to win, just lose it so we can move somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. So I really do think that Fitzgerald is going to be on the sidelines at Soldier Field next season. I firmly 100% believe that.
I do too. And if they don't make that move, I I just have very poor hopes for them next season.
Right.
I mean, Fitz is a local guy. He has turned the Northwestern program around. I mean, Northwestern is not a college football school. They
No.
really aren't. But I think they went from having a pretty bad losing season last season to, going 5-0, lost kind of a nail biter for their first loss. But I mean, that's a big turnaround from having a significant losing season to winning your first 5 games.
Which is even more incentive to get Fitzgerald out of there before Northwestern gets investigated for, paying players and all that stuff. That's usually what happens when programs turn around like that.
It's like, how much money did you offer them?
Right? Oh, really? Wow. It looks like have phone calls from Reggie Bush and Pete Carroll. Looks like you know what you're doing.
Like, we all know college football players at big schools are paid under the table.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But,
yeah, it's understood. It's like the guy that was at Louisiana Lafayette for years. He turned that program around to where they were going to bowl after bowl after bowl, like smaller bowls, but they were doing something. And then they turned around and was like, oh, well, yeah, we see you had some illegal recruiting practices that you really like to do. So get out, Fitzgerald. I'm giving you some advice. Just come on over to Soldier Field.
Take the money and run, dude.
Yeah, do it. You get to stay. You don't even have to move. That's the cool thing. You don't even have to pack your family up. Probably stay in the same school district.
Yeah, exactly. You can definitely be able to buy a bigger house.
Yeah, if you want it. I mean, maybe you're one of those guys that likes to have more boats than houses. That's those weird people. I'd rather have a big house that I can stay in all the time, not buy a whole bunch of four-wheelers that I have to get outside in. Yeah. I think the other big topic is the QB situation, and a few articles have been written this past week that I've read, and it looks like one of the big topics is this right here.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack and Dak Prescott. People believe that there could be a good trade. There are a couple of articles that talk about Khalil Mack's worth on the field for his pay, which is a very good argument to make. Right. I also argue if Dak Prescott on field would ever amount to anything, but is it better than what we have right now in the system?
In my opinion, no. And unfortunately, just being the more local team, I followed Dallas a little bit, and whenever Dak Prescott took over his first season, he did pretty well. He had a pretty good season. But I think that kind of got to his head, him and Ezekiel Elliott, to be honest. And, they started holding out in training camp wanting max contracts. I was like, what the hell are you thinking, dude? You haven't proven anything. You didn't take him to the playoffs. They've not reached a Super Bowl in God knows how long. I don't know, the 90s?
95.
Yeah. Like when they had a real team, like Aikman, Smith, Gallup, Galloway, like Ishmael. But like, who the hell do you think you are asking for a max contract when you have not proven anything?
Yeah. And, well, I mean, it's Jerry's world. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas has tons of money, but Jerry Jones spends stupid money.
He does. He spends stupid money on hoping that what he spends money on will work.
But it honestly hasn't. Whenever players get max contracts, I feel like that creates more of an issue for them and the organization in general. They get these max contracts and they're expecting, the team to win every game, or for, if they're the quarterback, they're going to be MVP, or they're going to have the best players around them and they're going to win the Super Bowl, or, a few wide receivers or running backs that they're going to, be the top rusher, get all the balls. But here's the thing, it doesn't work out. And then when things start going poorly, they don't want to play. They're like, I'm getting paid a ton. Like, why should I try? The season's pretty much over. So what's the point?
Well, so and you've seen a shift. You've seen a shift, especially in Major League Baseball, with how contracts are done. Mm-hmm. You would have a player who would prove himself, be really good, and then they would sign into like some 10-year, $200 million contract. And then you're like, why? Why did you do that? they're not doing anything anymore. Now you're starting to see where, okay, maybe we front load their contract a little bit, and it's kind of, we're in that weird transition where it's only been like a few seasons where it's happened. Players are holding out for big contracts during, off season, and sometimes it's 2 weeks into the season before they're getting signed. They didn't even go to spring training because they're holding out on the big contracts. That, I think, tried to transfer over into the NFL, and the NFL, you don't have the luxuries like you do in MLB, where you have guaranteed contracts. You have they do have guaranteed contracts, but football is more likely to pull the trigger on you early in failure than they are in baseball.
Right.
You can have 2-3 seasons downward slope with baseball, and like, okay, maybe we'll trend back up. You have 4 or 5 bad games at the end of a season, and there's a good chance you're cut.
Well, and it's just that Khalil Mack for Dak Prescott trade. You're not making a good trade. Khalil Mack, I agree, like, he's really not been worth the money. He had a productive 2018.
Yep.
But since then, it's not been consistent. And he's got like $26.5 million left on his contract or something like that. So then you run into the issue of, okay, well, which team do we trade with who is going to be able to cover his salary? And then what do we get in return? If they're looking for a quarterback, I really think they're going to be better off taking as their first pick a quarterback. Dak Prescott is not the answer.
Yep.
Definitely not. Nick Foles was not the answer. I mean, he had a great 2017 Super Bowl run with the Eagles, but the Eagles were very talented that year too. He was surrounded by talent. It was hard for him to really screw the pooch with so many good players around him.
You don't have an offensive line on him, he's going to screw the pooch on that one.
Yeah, now you put him with the Bears, who have no offensive line, hardly a run game, not really any standout wide receivers. And I mean, you're not setting him up for success, but you're just showing that he's not the quarterback you thought he was with the Eagles. That was largely situational because he had the talent to make him better and make him look good.
Yes. Khalil Mack, he signed that, $160 million extension, guaranteed 90. 2020, his base salary is $13.3 million. And he's got a signing bonus of 6.8 with a roster bonus of 3.9 and restructure of 2.6. He's $26.6 million on the cap hit.
Yeah.
So his yearly cash right now he's looking at is about 17.2 mil. Did we get 17.2 mil? I don't think we have. I don't think that's not good. I mean, and then it just keeps going up.
I mean, that's a lot to pay for someone who's not really making an impact. Right.
They have him at a potential out at 2022, where somebody else, I guess, would pick up that contract or whatnot. That's at the 90 million mark, and then he would get the rest of it out throughout the 24, and then 2025 he'd be an unsigned free agent. It's not a good look. It's not a good. There's no value in it.
No,
and I mean, at this point he's selling jerseys.
Yeah, I feel like the trend is with the NFL. A player has one really good season, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, let's keep him. Let's max contract."
Right. Yeah, it's
not showing consistency. Anyone can have a really good season, and then
you got players like JJ Watt, who he's down this season, but he's had good seasons, and
he's been consistent though. I mean, he's consistently a threat, even when he's in a down season. You still have to account for him,
right? And you don't get that with Mac.
No.
And there's injury questions all the time. He was set out for a little bit this week with his shoulder. He's back
injury.
Yep. And he, I guess, practiced. It says he returned to practice on limited basis Friday after sitting out Wednesday and Thursday. Listed as questionable. Mac has been limited in practice due to back, knee, and shoulder injuries throughout the season. Is listed as questionable, but has yet to miss a game. when you're not, well, you don't get reps anyways anymore in the NFL during the week. But when you are missing the reps that you do get, it's starting to show on the field.
Right. And I mean, with his multiple injuries, do you really risk putting him in for, exacerbating the already existing injuries? And I mean, the season's over essentially. There's like a 11% chance, I think, at this point of them making the playoffs.
Yep.
So, I mean, for a guy that you have max contract, do you risk really getting him hurt, or do you just kind of let the season go, let him heal, and try to move on?
It will be a very interesting deal. I don't think people are really entertaining inside of the actual workings of the NFL. I don't think people are really entertaining the Dak Prescott trade, but it might. I mean, who knows? Crazier things have happened, and so it'll be something to keep an eye on. I will tell you this week, though, keep an eye on the monkey knife fight. There's never a risk there. You can just ask our great friend Cristina. She always playing, always having fun. It's Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight is the daily fantasy sports gaming website for the casual sports fan that is simple, fun, and easy to play. Users determine which superstars competing in the day's professional sporting events will record more or less than the contest line provided. Monkey Knife Fight's daily fantasy prop games play similar to the salary cap-based DFS games, but without the algorithms, lineups, and most importantly, sharks. There are several contests to choose from, none of which require hours of research required on competing sites. Start with a simple 2-2 or go for the highest payouts, 100 times and higher, by selecting an 8-8 more or less contest. Get started now with a 100% instant match bonus up to $50 with the promo code BEARSBRUNCH. Download that Monkey Knife Fight app on your Android or iOS device. Please play responsibly.
Always.
I now feel so professional because I got to say that.
Play responsibly, drink responsibly.
Yeah, like that means that I am really doing something with my life, that I have people that I have to say that to. Oh, and guess what, guys? Win today. It's my birthday.
Woo!
32 years old.
32.
All I want for my birthday is a Bears win.
You might. Yeah.
It's a horrible day to have a birthday when the Bears are playing the Texans because they've got Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and there's a storyline there too. Bears passed up on Deshaun Watson and Mahomes for Trubisky.
Yes, that'll be great. We're about 30 minutes from kickoff for this game, the Texans and the Bears. You were saying early on before we started recording the show, what was it, 4-0?
Texans are 4-0 against the Bears. I think Deshaun Watson really just takes this game personally.
I can see that.
I think he definitely got the better end of the deal, but I think he definitely takes it to heart that they passed up on him for Trubisky. And I think, that's definitely a motivating factor in the series for him. And you definitely don't want to piss off Deshaun Watson.
Right. Because he'll take it out. He'll take it out on rushing and passing.
Yes. Yeah. And he's not had the greatest season. The Texans are mediocre at best. Why in the world they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, I don't understand. But Deshaun Watson,
that was a tricky spot all over the place.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't
know what happened there.
I don't know.
They got rid of him. They got rid of O'Brien.
Yeah. I do not get that. But, I mean, it's kind of a scary combination where he is now, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. So.
Yes. Well, Monkey Knife Fight right now, as of the time that this is showing, they have Deshaun Watson at 273.5 yards for passing. That's where they have him set up at. And then they have Mitch Trubisky at 245.5.
I really think under on both. If I
Yeah.
were on that, I think under on both.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson would definitely be the one that could maybe surprise us. I don't think Trubisky's ever going to have more than a 230 day, 220 for the rest of the season. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, they have him at 273 and a half. That's quite a bit of yardage there, and he can also rush for 100 or so. I mean, it's going to be one. Yeah.
I don't know that he's honestly going to have to throw that much to rack up that kind of yardage.
No. I think he's got. This is not looking like a good game to be. You know, they're 4-8 right now. Bears are 5-7. They have one loss more. Yeah, 4-0 overall. We went with that statistic last week. Nagy was 5-0 against the Lions. He is now 5-1. It's so hard to even talk about because what do you talk about? There's not a lot of positive that you can take. Yes, the Bears have been on an upward swing offensively.
But does it really matter if you're still losing games?
Right. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like you can find all the positives you want to try to excuse away a loss, but you still lost. Yeah. We've talked about JJ Watt being down, but he's always a threat, especially with an O line that isn't really an O line.
Right. You've got a poor O line. Even if they're able to keep him out of the backfield, he is going to swat down some passes. I mean, he gets his hands up and times the passing so well.
Right.
So if he doesn't even get a sack, he's probably going to break up a few plays. Just and a hand on the ball.
Now the defense is in question for the Bears. Where is the defense at? It's like as soon as the offense gets rolling, the defense starts sliding down. You can't ever have them just at the same time, just be in that peak mode where we're all coming together and we're all climbing the mountain on two sides and we're right there neck and neck. The defense, I would say the defense early on in the season had a chance to really shut down Deshaun Watson. But at this point in the season, I don't know. Khalil Mack nursing 3 injuries, always questionable. He hasn't put out a lot of production.
No.
I don't know if we've got the manpower to even handle a dual threat quarterback as dual threatening as Deshaun Watson is. Like he can air it out, and then you've got, are you going to play a lot of man coverage on your wide receivers to try to take up the middle of the field for in case he decides to break loose and run one for 27 yards? There's a lot of questions in today's game that nobody really has answers to because nobody knows what Bears team is going to show up for the game.
Yeah, it's almost like they come together like offense and defense. Like, wait, are you going to play well today or are we playing well today? Yeah. Which is it? Like, we need to be on the same page there. And with, them playing man, they can play man on the receivers, but you're still then banking on, maybe safety coverage in the middle of the field or someone to spy over top if he's going to take off. And I'm going to pick Deshaun Watson over almost any safety one-on-one in open field situation.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be able to plant and juke and move around you pretty fast.
He's got some moves.
Yeah, he does.
He's nobody to. I mean, the Bears really missed on that one.
Oh yeah.
And that's. I think that'll also help you, like you're saying. He took that kind of personally, and I think that could be kind of one of those things where I'm going to come in and I'm going to prove everybody wrong and I'm going to show everybody what they lost.
Yeah. I mean, there's almost no more motivating factor than proving people wrong in my mind. I mean, personally, me, but especially in sports.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. You got it. I mean, and you have to have that chip on your shoulder.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, players who play with that typically perform better.
Right.
I mean, because, they've got that extra motivation to really win and thrive. So.
Yes. Well, now it is time for our favorite time of the day. It's closing time almost, and it's prediction time brought to you by Death Ink Coffee. Go to deathink.coffee. Yours is in the mail, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's good stuff. You can get a subscription based in 1 pound bags. You can get it delivered monthly or bi-weekly. It's great Christmas gifts, and you still got time to do it. You still got 8 days until what? No, more than that.
What's
12 days. You got 12 days of Christmas. I don't know why I even started that off wrong. I knew that. You got 12 days to get that subscription ordered, get it out to your family and friends. Check them out. It's deathinc.coffee. They have a lot of cool stuff. It is the best coffee that I've had. Got it over here on my shelf, and I pour it every morning. Have me a nice cup of coffee.
That'll be a great start for me, being a real adult, having a Monday through Friday job. Just
don't you hate it?
I love it. I love and hate it. But now I recognize so much why my parents would go to bed like 8 or 9 o'clock during the week and even on the weekends.
Right. See, my dad's never been that. He still stays up like even now till midnight watching reruns of King of Queens and HGTV shows. Yet they have no projects at the house done. Like, he watches a ton of HGTV and he's like, yeah, we're going to do that. And I'm like, when, Dad? You've wanted to do that since I was in high school.
Yeah. I mean, my dad has 1,000,001 projects going on at once, and he's just like ADD, jumping from project to project. And
did you ever help out on weekends with him?
Help out with the projects?
Yeah. Did you get roped into that?
I would have to occasionally when I was living at home.
Yeah.
Mainly my mom wanted me to help her clean because she's a clean freak. So, but my dad would occasionally make me get out there and do some stuff. So
my dad's got this little trick now with us where he'll like be like, hey, I'm cooking out. Come on over. And then we show up. Yeah. We show up and my dad's like, hey, come out here and we'll talk while I'm cooking. So we're outside and he's like grilling burgers or whatever we're having. He's like, look over there. I'm like, yeah, you got a big hole over there. And he's like, yeah, let's fill it. And I'm like, oh no, this is how it happens every time.
This is the cost of coming over.
Yes. And it's always, he always goes the under, which is never good. He's always like, this residing the house, $50. Take us 2 hours. And it's like, yeah, 5 more trips to Lowe's, like $1,000 more, and 3 more weekends of this bullshit. We finally get our project done.
Yeah.
It's the typical dad.
Yeah, that's just a universal dad thing right there.
Yep. Always do it cheaper, quicker, and it never works out. So, Cristina, on behalf of the Death Inc. Coffee predictions, where are we at today for you?
I'm saying 2017 Texans.
2017 Texans. I think both of our predictions have the Bears being competitive. And I like that. I like, even though you have the loss for the Bears, you do have them being competitive, and it will come down to the wire. I, in honor of Shanda not being here today, which she will be back with us next week, I am going to play the optimist, and I'm going to say it's 23-17. I think that there has been enough upside to the offense for me to kind of say, okay, I think we can get around this. I think if they can shut down J.J. Watt, which might be difficult, maybe have to do some type of double team, which I would imagine, can throw Montgomery over there because they don't even really like to use him. So, yeah, you have yourself an extra blocker. I think that it will be very interesting. I think if they can get some passes out to the tight ends, I think that may even help, because that might keep
commit involvement there.
Yeah, might keep, and that's what they've been talking about wanting to do, trying to get commit more action on the field, maybe giving him some more design plays that get him more looks. I think this would be a good game to do it, because maybe that will keep J.J. Watt from having to just constantly rush the box.
We shall see, but it's all contingent on that offensive line.
Yes. And they didn't get anybody else. They were shut down for Thursday, I believe it was, for a COVID case. There's one player out with the COVID, but nothing else. I think that's going to be something that every team talks about every week.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's going to be a thing for at least the next 6-7 months. So even when they start getting into offseason stuff, mini camps.
Right.
likely.
Well, and now we've got some other stuff to look forward to with Chicago sports. We've got the Bulls played their first preseason game this past Friday.
Yeah.
So,
Quick,
105.
new head honcho over there.
Yeah. And I believe it was like 125 to 105 or something like that. 20 point loss to the Rockets.
Yeah. I don't put much stock in preseason stuff, really. I mean, it's
getting your reps.
It's not indicative of anything, so.
No, but Shanda will have that new show, Bulls Deep, with her co-host. And then coming at the new year, Hawks Talks with me and Cristina and possibly a few others joining us for the old Hawks Talks. It'll be fun. I tried to get her and my best friend Angelica to do a show called No Cocks, Just Hawks. Thought it was a cool logo. Had like a rooster in there with a no like smoking sign over it. Thought it was interesting, but I was shot down by Angelica. She said no. It's creative. It's creative. We were trying to do that whole call her daddy angle, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's a great show still. But thanks for joining us as always. Keep an eye out. Also, you can find us on IGTV. Follow us at Bears Brunch on Instagram, Deep in Chi-Town on Instagram as well. As always, guys, as optimistically as we can say it, please bear down, even when it's the hardest thing to do.
Be responsible.
Be responsible. Give me a good birthday present, Matt Nagy. Just fire yourself before the game.
Just gracefully bow out.
Yeah. Just be like, hey, man, I'm a disgrace. I'm sorry, guys. But yes, bear down. We'll see you guys next week. Same place, same time. Until then, enjoy it.